I'm Richard Clarke. I record these talks every day as a way to deepen my inquiry. Listen each day and deepen your own practice. Welcome. I'm reviewing and commenting in the book Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. Today is from Talk 427, Part 3. Questioner. The mind is said to be a bundle of thoughts. Maharshi, because it functions on account of a single root, the I thought. When one inquires into the mind disappears. It has no real existence as a separate entity. Questioner, are not thoughts projections from the mind? Maharshi, in that case, the mind is taken to be synonymous with the I thought, or the ego. When the questioner asks about the nature of the mind, referring to it as a bundle of thoughts, Sri Ramana Maharshi responds by highlighting a crucial aspect of his teachings on self-inquiry and the nature of the self. He says that the mind operates based on the I thought, which serves as its fundamental root. First is this I thought, then the thoughts of others and the world, all based on this I thought. The Maharshi's discussion of the I thought focuses on the ego, the sense of individuality that arises when one identifies with the body and mind. This I thought is the first and primary thought from which all other thoughts emanate, and all other thoughts are in reference to the I thought. By identifying this root, Maharshi points out that the mind, as a collection of thoughts, lacks independent existence. It functions solely because of the I thought, and without this root, the mind would not have a foundation from which to operate. Ramana then cites a phrase from his Uladu Narpadu 40 verses on reality, which translates, when one inquires into the mind disappears. Ramana says that the mind does not exist as an entity on its own. Through self-inquiry, by questioning the source of the I thought, the mind is revealed to be an illusion, a projection of this core idea rather than a real independent entity. When the questioner further asks if thoughts are projections from the mind, the Maharshi explains that understanding the mind to be synonymous with the I thought or ego, so thoughts are indeed projections. However, this understanding leads to the realization that the mind and the I thought are not separate. The mind, composed of thoughts, is simply an extension of the ego. By investigating the ego, we get to the root, the source of these incorrect ideas about ourselves and the world. The Maharshi's teachings here is to guide you to see through the illusion of the mind and ego. By questioning the origin of the I thought, you can realize that ego does not exist. It has never existed. It was just an idea assumed to be real. Then you can know and experience the true nature of the self, which is beyond thoughts and the ego. The self is pure consciousness, untouched by the mind's activities. In this dialogue, Ramana Maharshi urges you to look beyond the surface level of thoughts and mind. By understanding that the mind is just a collection of thoughts rooted in the ego through self-inquiry, this illusion can be known for what it truly is, and you can experience the profound realization of the self, yourself, the only self that is. This realization brings true happiness, as it is unclouded by the mind's projections and the false identification with the ego. The concepts of happiness, suffering, mind, and ego are interconnected in the Maharshi's teachings. True happiness is found in the self, free from mind's illusions. Suffering arises from identification with the ego and its thoughts. By practicing self-inquiry, tracing the I thought to its source, and knowing this source as your identity, you can transcend these illusions and realize the self and find lasting peace and happiness. So, know yourself and be always free and at peace. In 40 Verses on Reality, Ramana Maharshi explains the nature of the self, the ultimate reality, and self-inquiry. My new book, with my comments and inquiry questions, opens these teachings up and brings them into your practice and experience. Available now from Amazon. Link in the video description. These videos bring Ramana's teachings into your direct experience. Click subscribe to see more. Click thumbs up to like, and send questions and start a dialogue with a comment.